Ted Williams was absolutely obsessive about everything he did. Hitting a baseball, fishing, hunting, flying an airplane, all of his passions. It was, if you've ever picked up his book, The Science of Hitting, which came out in 1971, which players still read today and is still a part of baseball training lore, it is so professorial and academic and basically too complicated for a layman to understand. I couldn't understand half of it. He talks about the cosine and the angles, and he breaks down the swing, hip rotation, elbows, and wrist rotation. He was obsessive about the details, and even his managers said years later, one of the things that made him a great hitter was not just his taking batting practice and understanding the game, but he obsessed about how tight his shoes were and his shoelaces, and he broke in his jerseys and his pants weeks ahead and broken bats months ahead of time because he was so obsessed with the details and fine-tuning everything. And that's exactly how John Glenn went about his military career, his NASA career, his time in the Senate. It's actually something that hurt his political career. He was obsessed with the details of writing bills, and particularly arms treaties, was very active in developing the SALT II arms treaty. And it really irritated a lot of his fellow senators because he slaved over the details, the mundane and nuances of things that most people probably overlooked. And I think this is something that, maybe it's not something they talked about, but I think it was a sensibility they'd shared and that they understood one another that way. The other thing that I came to understand about how John Glenn and Ted Williams' friendship grew in the years after the Korean War. Ted Williams was really a national figure at the age of 23. He joined the Boston Red Sox at about age 20. He was probably their best hitter right away. He was, other than Joe DiMaggio, he was the best player in baseball very early in his career. And he was a national figure. He was certainly a big figure from the day he joined the Boston Red Sox in the Massachusetts and New England area. But he was on the cover of Life magazine at age 23. This photo here is of him on the cover of Life magazine. So for the next about 60 years, he couldn't walk down the street without people wanting an autograph or a photograph or to shake his hand or to talk to him. So he understood what it meant to be in the spotlight all the time. For John Glenn, it was a little different. He really didn't become a national figure until he joined the NASA program, particularly when he returned from his 3 orbits in space. He was 41 years old at the time. But here's a photo of him on the cover of Life magazine, and that's sort of the day his life changed forever, and he was a national figure for the next 50 or 60 years because of his service in NASA. And I think they both understood that they belonged to the public. John Glenn's daughter told me one time that they were in Africa many years after the Friendship 7 mission in a small village that didn't have a lot of electricity, no television, very little news, and even they recognized him there. So neither one of these men could step out of their house without having the spotlight shown on them. Now, how they handled that was a completely different story. Ted Williams did not get along with his fans, did not get along with the press. I think he did not like being in the spotlight. John Glenn never turned down a handshake or an autograph, and he was certainly a man of the people. But I think it was something that they really saw well in one another, this common thread.